Highly anticipated adaptation of Solo Leveling is finally here. And was it a promising start what could be a fantastic series? No. 2 episodes are out, and in first episode it had many flaws such as jump cuts, character introduction, and fight scenes were poorly animated, so A1 Pictures did not do as good of a job as I anticipated. The issue most fans and I had with the episode was the pacing, which while not slow, was confusing and a bit rough. The information provided was perhaps had too much for a pilot episode. There was no key entry point to the series, and at no point did protagonist Sang Jin-woo succeed in attracting himself to us. I think this was largely due to the anime introducing as many major characters as possible in the first episode. As I know, Baek Yeon-woo and Choi Jong-in, who appear in the webtoon in chapters 47 and 62, and in the anime they were the first characters we see. By the way, I have not read the manhwa, I only know like 10 chapters and none of these characters appear in the first 10 chapters of either the novel or the webtoon. By introducing such a large cast, of course the focus will reduce on Jin-woo. One more thing I did not like was the frequent cuts between different settings. It didn't feel okay just jumping in different scenes, like let me see one scene fully. Considering that some of the before mentioned characters weren't named in Solo Leveling episode 1, it might have been better not to tamper with the timeline at all. Instead of adapting only chapters 1 to 3 of the webtoon, episode 1 could have adapted the first 5 or 6 chapters, both of which had good endpoints. This might have allowed us to see the more personality of Jin-woo and given us a more evenly paced opportunity to understand the premise of this world. Instead, we have at our hands a clumsily stitched montage of too many characters doing too many things, none of whom have managed to make any impression on us. Solo Leveling episode 1 did not live up to the hype the webtoon or novel fans created because it focused more on the elements and not the collective whole. However, it was in no way a horrible episode. The quality of the production clearly shone through, giving everyone an idea of what to expect in the future. The hidden dungeon part was great when one hunter attempts to escape, only to be gruesomely killed by one of the statue monsters upon touching the gate. Jin-woo and his companions are left traumatized, struggling to comprehend how a seemingly low-level D-rank dungeon could house such monstrous creatures. The group soon realizes that all the statues can move. After that, Jin-woo observes the eyes of the largest statue and the statue of God moves his eyes. After that, he is recalling past experiences where he came close to death. So that's how it ends, and then comes the episode 2. After watching episode 2, I think it should have been a double-length premiere. Together, they are great foundation to the story. It individually, the 2 episodes don't really form any sort of satisfying narrative, but it's still okay. So, back where we left off after last week's cliffhangers, and like we see all the time in real life and death situations, either the best in people comes out or the worst. And in the case of this party, it's been the worst. Everyone turning against each other, bickering, pointing fingers. The reality is they are all at fault for being dumb enough to go along with that stupid ass plan. The money drew them in, and now they are all were skeptics. Sorry about your arm, guess it's just karma. Imagine someone telling you that like after getting your arm cut off. Again, if you didn't want to go into the dungeon, you could have spoken up or stayed behind. It's that simple. Brutal scenes in there. A1 Pictures ain't hold back at all. Legs, feet, arms, people getting cleaved in half. This episode was a slaughterhouse. I expected Jin-woo to get saved at the last second by some magic power, but nope. Loses his arm, leg, and then gets run through by the statues. This was rough to watch. I like how in the end he doesn't have some noble self-sacrificing attitude and is in fact very angry that it had to be him to stay behind when he has things he wants to live for. Nobody really wants to take one for the team in that situation. might sound good, but it's definitely not how you really feel.